Stanley Black & Decker provides tools and services around the globe to help turn great ideas into reality and to help us shape the world we live in. We proudly support programming that inspires invention, innovation, and hard work. Together with Make48, we're providing men and women the tools and resources to build a better world. Stanley Black & Decker, for those who make the world.
ACE is made up of thousands of entrepreneurs with a passion for supporting innovation. With more than 5,000 locally owned stores worldwide, we help supply resources and tools for neighborhood makers and inventors.
ACE is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
For more than 30 years, QVC has been dedicated to finding and supporting innovators, inventors, and entrepreneurs. Our shopping experiences help entrepreneurs bring their products to life and share compelling stories of grit, determination, and creativity.
Previously on Make48, the prototypes were refined.
You can see these seams are actually heat sealed.
And the inventors were given an opportunity to get hands-on with their inventions.
Couple little tweaks here or there. We fixed the bottom ring, fixed the power source coming in.
Welcome to Make48. Everyone's got a big idea.
As we now have our 3 products, they're prototyped. They're still not finalized in the prototype stage, but they're at that point where we can get advice from our mentors.
We're going to meet Joanne and Ryan at the Grommet.
They know products and they know e-commerce. They'll hopefully give us some feedback that we really need to take it to that next final level. Josh Malone, Josh, a very talented design engineer. We're having problems right now with the slinger. And also the wedgie. You know, we've got some challenges we have to get over the line with those products. So we had Team Believe, the 3 sisters and Joe. They created a really awesome team. They did the 360 uplight. I think it's come out really, really good for a first version prototype. Still some tweaks to make. We got some custom lighting made from a company that makes Christmas lights. Because that was, the big part of this was to get the spacing correct and the lighting length to make it work. My concern moving forward with this product is that do we sell it as an indoor version or an outdoor or both? And what do you suggest we look for here when we've got the power source, the battery pack?
I'm thinking if you can integrate your storage, so even if you have solar, you've got to store that energy because you can't use it when the sun's out. You're not turning your device on. You want to store it up and then use it. If you used rechargeable batteries, then you wouldn't need separate batteries for your solar system. So change this to rechargeable. Maybe embed it. Could you embed it in the housing here so you can eliminate a lot of parts here? The 360 uplight is really coming along well. It really almost looks like a product, honestly.
Most of the products that we're seeing with battery are rechargeable, USB. This is
old-fashioned?
A little.
It's a really good point.
I do think that they need different sizes, especially if they're looking to get into not just potted plants, but if they're going more landscaping, they need to have different formations and modularity. There's a lot more, I think there's a lot of opportunity to expand that more so than some of the other products that we've looked at.
Maybe another thing you could consider doing if you were going to take it up to the next level and your product expansion is if it's connected wirelessly in sort of a smart item, then you can then insert battery.
These are like solar,
concerns.
smart, charging, automation. Ooh, you got something. If the product lights plants the way I think it's going to, of course, we're still looking at a prototype. I can see huge opportunities for product line expansion into garden solar, into different size configurations, into different configurations, more modular configurations. It's big.
The wedgie chair, the most comfortable wedgie you've ever had. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was a great pitch, first place.
Is it still called the wedgie chair?
It's still called the wedgie. We've done a lot of research back and forth of what people think of the name. Is it offensive? Is it not? Is it too gimmicky? But no, the wedgie's what we're sticking with right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it works.
So the prototypes come in. Mako Design have prototyped it. There's a lot of improvements from the first one. However, we still have a huge amount of issues.
So how would someone carry this? Are there like backpack type straps, or has it got a handle?
Yeah, when it folds back up, it's really flat, and yeah, there's going to be a handle system where you can carry it really easy.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are going to take it to the beach,
Right.
camping. You're going to walk a long way from your car, more than likely when you use it.
Backpack would be better than sandals.
So several things that we noticed. They've improved the backing system. It actually has a blow-up bladder in there. So when you buy the product, you blow it up and then you seal it, and then that allows you for more comfort in the back padding. Prototype here still has a metal frame going right around, which is making it cumbersome. It's still too heavy.
Oh yeah.
For trial and error right now.
Are you thinking fiberglass is the?
Aluminum is probably going to be the most suitable. If you remember, one of the concerns we had when we were judging was how do you educate the consumer of the 3 different angles that it works with?
Yeah.
Because in retail, it's going to be really hard to educate.
I think that in store, no doubt about it, you're going to be depending on your packaging to show the different positions, like images of the different positions, right, front and center, big, so people can understand it.
What I don't see yet is really the mechanism for easily. Well, first of all, as you mentioned, it is pretty large, and I think if you replace the steel with aluminum, that's going to help shrink it a little bit. You got to make it look like it's something I can carry to the beach. But then, how does it actually operate? How do you get from these 3 different positions? What is the linkage? And you can't have an instruction manual for this. It's got to just happen, or the consumers won't.
Instructions always get thrown away very quickly. So you're going to use this as a seasonal item. Next summer, you're going to get back out, get the wedgie chair back out, and you're going to forget exactly how it worked last season.
A great concept, right? There's a market for this sort of thing. But I really encourage them to look at what are they substituting for. I think they've taken a lot of functions that maybe you had to have 2 different pieces of equipment for before and put it into one piece of equipment. But you got to be able to get there in a way that, it needs to weigh less than the 2 pieces of equipment that you would have otherwise, and it needs to be as easy to put together as those 2 pieces of equipment. Otherwise, people are going to just buy those 2 pieces of equipment. Right now, it's kind of an idea, but it's not a product yet.
I wanted to give you guys an update on the Drink Slinger.
Yeah.
So they were one of the winning teams. They had the koozie device attached to a handle that when you activated on the can, it would bite on the can, you had a handle and you could drink. They did a really good job. They printed multiple of these.
Yeah, I remember.
Proved the concept
5 in each hand, right?
5 in each hand. That was one of the biggest selling features of this product. So this one, it has been a challenge. It doesn't look like a challengeable product, but the manufacturing, the design has been really, really advanced, and we've gone through this many times to try to get it right. My concern in manufacturing is we have 2 components. We have the injected handle, and then we have the koozie. The foam koozie is already developed in a commodity item. I don't want to be developing a koozie from scratch. I want to be able to purchase that, inject the plastic, and then assemble the cheapest possible way.
By purchase it, you mean identify the manufacturers and go direct from manufacturer. You're not going to buy it off the shelf and then...
Correct.
Right.
What you see here is simply version 3.
For the Drink Slinger in particular, that was one of my bets, right? That was my impression of, okay, this is very demonstrable. This is a product that clearly has a need already. There is a use for it.
To have feedback from you guys and the experts and, with taking a product to market, this is where I love to show people and get your feedback on where we're at.
Is the idea, Thomas, still that these nest together as a group?
Yeah, they've still got the interlocking handle that doesn't lock, so to speak, but when you put your hand in there, naturally they come together and you can hold 5 different units.
It looks like you stayed really true to the competition team's design, and so you're basically tracking what they must have worked a lot of it out in the beginning.
We ultimately see this as a promotional product.
Okay.
You've got a really cool surface area here for pad printing. So logos, we can color code the handle. You've even got spots up here and down here that are good for logos as well.
Right.
If we can keep the manufacturing down, a lot of companies will buy it. If it's a $2 to $3 to $4 item, they can buy it and give it away. If it gets up to $10, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I still see this as a giveaway promotional item.
Where it's going to be used the most, whether that is in a tailgating avenue or more of that kind of B2B or promotional opportunity. I think there'll be more opportunity there for this product than there will be in the everyday consumer household.
Would you see this as ultimately 5 go together? Would you see this as a 5 product, or is that too many units?
The way you merchandise a product, kind of having a beginner get someone interested if they don't want to bet on the whole 5 set or 10 set, whatever it might be. So you start low, and then you can work your way up and go sort of the small package, the medium package, and then the larger.
Well, this is
package
what I
for a
think
full
it's going to be
party set.
about. It's about price point.
Right.
You know, you're going to need a $9.99 bundle, $12.99. You know, if you can get, I mean, I don't think you can charge more even for 5 than, this is consumer, $19.99, $24.99 for 5. This is the kind of thing that people don't expect to spend a lot here.
Right. Team of 48 Hours did really an amazing job, and so what I saw here was an effort to make that more manufacturable. So I can see where you're going, although, yeah, so there's, it troubles me a little bit because you've got, it looks like you've increased the part count. Now I know that the way they put this together, there's a lot of labor involved, and so you may have eliminated that. But is there a way to, can you eliminate the labor involved in this without adding the piece count would be my initial reaction. So the hope is that they can continue to move that direction by making it mass producible, but maybe without so many parts. That would be the ideal. I'm surprised by how good the original version was, honestly, sitting here. I know it's not manufacturable, but it just keeps striking me as I'm not sure we're going the right direction on this. But is there a way to use these slots can you attach this directly to this without all these extra features?
Yeah, it's a really good point. We have another concept we're about to print and test, and we can do that now because we have a safety feature at the bottom where the can cannot fall through. Okay. So the concern right here is that if something becomes weak over time or it doesn't touch the can fully, this could slide straight down. And now that we've added this feature, which is a really simple thing, it eliminates that. So we are about to print a new version to test that theory.
This is the magic right here. It needs some work. It is very much a prototype. But there's magic there where the koozie snaps across that can or a bottle. So I think there's some work to do. I think there's potential. I think it could be a grommet.
We want to get some advice on trademarks. Clint Newton from Shokati Bacon is a man I respect and worked with in the past. Trademarking a brand and logos is very important, especially after you launch your product. You do not want to be hit with litigation on infringing someone else's marks, someone else's logos. Clint's got some knowledge that we need to ask, and that's what we're going to try and find out. So for a new inventor, what is the difference between a patent and a trademark, and what does each one protect?
Trademarks and patents are 2 of the kind of basically 4 parts of what are called intellectual property. So there's patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. They go hand in hand, but they all have different functions and allow you to protect and stop other people from doing certain things. Patents allow the inventor to protect the mechanism, in most cases, or the product itself. It's the new process or improvement, and it allows them to stop other people from making, using, selling, importing that feature that they've patented. The trademark, on the other hand, is a source identifier.
You're talking about the name, or you're talking about the logo, or both?
Both. A trademark can be anything that is capable of identifying the source of a product. For example, a trademark can be a word, the wedgie. A trademark can be a logo. For example, this kind of 5-star with the circles, that might be unique. A trademark can be a sound, like the NBC chimes, some sort of unique. Again, it's something that people would associate with a service or a product. Whatever it is, it can be a shape. The Hershey's Kiss is a registered trademark shape. A Coca-Cola, the silhouette shape of a Coca-Cola bottle is a registered trademark shape because that shape could identify, across the room, someone can see that and not see the label and know what that soft drink is. So a trademark allows you to stop other people from, we'll call it marketing, their goods or services in a way to confuse people to think that they're coming from you when they're actually coming from me. Patents, under the current law, they're good for up to 20 years from the date you first filed it.
Okay.
So once the patent expires, anyone can make the product. So that's kind of the exchange the government's giving. I'll give you this exclusivity, but you got to tell everybody how to do it. And as soon as your exclusivity runs, then everybody, the whole society benefits. A trademark, on the other hand, as long as you keep using the mark and you keep people at bay and you're still using the mark, trademarks every 10 years, you can renew your trademark, renew it indefinitely. So you can have trademarks I have some trademarks that are, that I work on that are, 80 years old and they're well known in their industry.
Really?
But they keep using it, and so it's still serving its function, and you can keep renewing them. But they all kind of generate around your kind of efforts in developing the product, the brand, the artwork around it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can protect it, and the more that you can do, again, the more value you're going to add to
your IP.
Your IP, yeah.
Ultimately, we want to get these products into retail. We've reached out to some good friends of ours, merchandising experts, and we want to get their feedback, not so much on the product, but how would you sell this in a retail environment?
The packaging is going to be key in the sense that we have to convey how the many ways you can use it. I think there's the outdoor landscape area you said, uneven terrain, as well as, for people who may not have a yard, but they have plants and they want to do it even in their home. It's a great way to market it. So it's showing that functionality in the packaging is going to be very important, or calling it out in some feature.
For this product, I think a Try Me example would be most important for selling it. So reading that is one thing, but seeing each different feature when purchasing it could definitely help sell it.
I think the display that we have right here is going to be key. In the store, just setting one up and keeping it in one position, this is probably the best because it's not taking up as much space as laying it down. And then you can have the bulk stack of the boxes behind, or if the retailer has room in their back room, they could store it there. But in addition to that, it's really the communication on the POP. So if we could come up with, I foresee like 3 tent cards being placed around it and saying like really big, like step or option 1 or 2, 3, and then having a nice lifestyle shot showing those different options.
To me, this one's really tricky because it's awkward. It's not a consistent shape where you can make a nice box, round or whatnot. Having a can looking like this is okay, but obviously that can won't be available when it's in the store.
I think this is a really impulse type product, so I think whatever store it is going to go into, it definitely needs to be near that front entrance or near the checkout. So I think it's definitely like a freestanding display. And I like the idea of having some type of maybe a cardboard can or some type of prototype can, how you just had it, so the consumer can see how that works.
The advice we got with the Slinger, very seasonal product, very summer friendly. An end cap or something similar, maybe a sidekick, up near the display is probably the best place for the product. Another good point that they had was that to have a display on top where you could hold a can itself and people could use it and touch it. So that's something we're going to really look into.
After getting advice from the merchandising experts, Kurt goes to Pratt Industries to learn about retail packaging for the Drink Slinger.
It's amazing how much goes into just creating a box, what seems very simple. That there's not only a lot of work that goes into it, but that work actually in a lot of ways mirrors the process of creating the product that the box is going to wrap around. Pratt Industries does the same thing in creating their boxes. They have to figure out what that item is, how best to box it up, what kind of box they need, what kind of material they need. It may take them several iterations of a box just to get the right size before they even get to the part of graphics and what they're going to put on the front of it and how they're going to dress it up.
So you're custom designing the boxes. I mean, basically you're taking a product, an item, and you can design a box around that item so that it can be stored, that it can be transported, and you can design even the graphics on that as well, right?
Correct, yeah. We do everything from concept to delivery for a customer.
That's awesome. Well, and certainly in our case with inventors and their products and what they're coming up with, the next stage after they have the prototype done is to package it up, right? They've got to figure out a way to get it on the shelf.
Exactly.
So with that in mind, you all are using all kinds of technology and similar tools to what we use, and and certainly in the process of making prototypes and the products themselves, you're using those same types of tools to design the boxes and make those, right?
Yeah, we use a CAD software. RDOS CAD is what we use first to design the actual product. Then we have our Consberg table to actually cut out the sample for the customer. So what we'll normally do is I'll send out the design out to the table once it's all set up. Get it cut out, and we'll get the sample out to the customer.
Wow, Roger, that was fast, okay?
Yeah.
And really precise. Those cuts, man, it's amazing what goes into laying a box out. I can see in here that you've allowed for all the different places so that it can fold together, right? I mean,
correct.
There's
yes.
a lot of engineering that goes into this so that you can put this box together, almost kind of origami, right?
Exactly,
you know, right?
yes, yes.
And when you design this box, you also have to design it to maximize production in the plant for big sheets and how many you can cut out of one sheet, right?
That is correct, that is correct. Depending on the box, depending on which machine it's going to run on, we will maximize that sheet through the machine. But we also keep in mind how many the customer is purchasing. If the customer's going to order 100 of these, I'm not going to lay it out as if they're going to order 10,000 of these. Sure. So we got to keep the tooling kind of in check for them. So the next process for me is to make sure that the sample is going to work for the product. So we'll get it over here and get it glued up. Our normal production process, we use what they call cold set glue, but for here we use hot melt glue. Just it makes the process faster to check up the samples. We have the product here from the customer, which is going to be the drink slinger. This is a 2-pack design for him. Have this design. We got the product here. We're going to check, make sure the fit. Thing looks good. Fits look good, so we get it to the customer for approval.
That's outstanding. And it helped certainly to have the prototypes, not just
yes,
you're not just giving
extremely.
dimensions, but to actually have those prototypes work. So that's important too. If they can give you early prototypes like you had here,
yes,
that helps you get an exact measurement and fit.
Exactly, exactly. And then once they move on to their production product, we can always alter the design as needed. So
that is a great puzzle and fairly easy for me, which is good.
We try to make it easy for the customer.
With the individual packages done, Kurt and Roger turn their focus to the in-store display.
Okay, now Roger, this is a different type of box altogether. So this is an in-store display, right?
Correct, correct. This is for the drink slinger. Basically, they wanted a floor display as well. So we developed the display base, a display tray, and a display header for the customer. Basically, it's going to come to the customer flat. It will be and we'll send them an overpack. They can pack it up, send it to the store, so they'll have it down flat for when the people at the store receive it.
Okay.
And they'll be able to put it together, fold it up, lock into place. Header's the same way. So the header just kind of locks into the top as well for them. Then they'll fill it up with the product and it's good to go at the store.
It's a transformer. I love it. Now, one thing I've noticed, Roger, with all these boxes is that you've taken a very minimalist approach to the overall graphics and design. But I'm thinking that by the time this is said and done, you've actually added some color, logos, some verbiage on this as well, right?
Correct, yeah. What we'll do is once the CAD is laid in, we produce EPS files for the customer. We send those out to the customer, and majority of them will lay their art onto those die lines. If not, we can always help them out with the graphics as well, either here in the house, we also have a display division that can help them out.
So Roger, all of these boxes are essentially like your prototypes.
Exactly.
Just like our product prototypes. It seems like the process is very similar to what the inventor goes through. I mean, basically you have to come up with your prototype, refine that prototype before it's ready for mass production. And it seems like to me that the one thing that an inventor should always keep in mind is that every little thing they do with that product at the beginning has a ripple effect across the entire cycle of taking it right from head to hand and then from manufacturer to store. Every little thing they do with that product affects everything else that's done afterwards, just like the packaging here, right?
Exactly. Yeah, one little change can change your complete packaging design.
What we learned at Pratt, what hopefully anybody in this process would learn along the way, is kind of the complexity of simplicity, right? So it's that lesson that if something looks really amazing, really sleek, sometimes really simple, it actually was a very complex process to get there.
Fantastic. A lot to think about, but when it's all said and done, it looks very beautiful, very simple, right?
Yes.
Easy to use and very attractive to buy.
Yes, it looks very nice out on the floor.
That's excellent. Roger, thank you. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
On the next Make48, product videos are created for the 3 products.
It's her flexibility and the flexibility of the product is what we're trying to outline the flexibility of the product with her flexibility.
And real consumers are given an opportunity to weigh in.
Does it come with a little pump in it, or do you have to blow on it like you blow up a beach ball or something?
Make48. Everyone's got a big idea.
Stanley Black & Decker provides tools and services around the globe to help turn great ideas into reality and to help us shape the world we live in. We proudly support programming that inspires invention, innovation, and hard work. Together with Make48, we're providing men and women the tools and resources to build a better world. Stanley Black & Decker, for those who make the world.
ACE is made up of thousands of entrepreneurs with a passion for supporting innovation. With more than 5,000 locally owned stores worldwide, we help supply resources and tools for neighborhood makers and inventors.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
For more than 30 years, QVC has been dedicated to finding and supporting innovators, inventors, and entrepreneurs. Our shopping experiences help entrepreneurs bring their products to life and share compelling stories of grit, determination, and creativity.
To learn more about the invention process and to get to know the teams, visit Make48.com.